Welcome back to the Paladins World Championship. We are in Europe right now, about to go in to the grand finals and crowned the very best team. Before we get to that, though, I know you're all doing your holiday shopping. If you don't know what to get the Paladins fan in your life, then we have the thing for you. Go to steelseries.com. You can get a Paladins mouse pad or speaker plate. Pretty cool if you got someone in your life that loves some Paladins. Now, I am on the desk here with Fawn. Let's go ahead and talk about this, and because, we don't have to do a whole lot to break it down. It's a rematch, right? Yoinkers and ClownFiesta about to do battle again. Obviously, Yoinkers, because they are the team still in the upper bracket, they have, as you see here, the one map advantage, so we're technically starting on game 2. ClownFiesta have their work cut out for them here.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is the time where they need to have learned something. They fought each other. Yep. Yoinkers goes 3-1. ClownFiesta only won one map in its entirety. I think that this is the time where they need to figure something out, because clearly I wasn't expecting, personally, I was not expecting the game to be 3-1. I was expecting it to go like 3-2, like closer, like 0.7, like this is first, second seed. I didn't think it would be so one-sided, but based off of how we saw ClownFiesta against Celestial, that was also pretty close. It wasn't too far apart in terms of the map differential until the end of it. So I would assume that they got their mojo back and they're ready to tackle Yoinkers once again.
And you got to remember how it ended. Ice Mines in particular was non-competitive, right? I believe it was Prosper piloting the Grok and really took them to task with it. They did not seem to have an answer to it. So that's the kind of thing, I think, if you're ClownFiesta to be worried about, that nothing like that comes out and catches you off guard. So let's go ahead and take a look then at the maps that we're going to have for this set. The bands, probably the better look: Frog Isle, Ascension Peak, Fish Market, and Warders Gate. Nothing about that particularly surprising to me, which means we'll have a ton of standard maps here. Stone Keep will be the first one, because remember, we're going right to game 2. So Stone Keep is where we'll start. So Fawn, I assume we can expect for a fairly standard match here.
Yeah, I mean, Stone Keep is the map that everyone's used to, right? I mean, it is the map that everyone has been playing on for quite some time throughout the phase, last phase, and this phase, and now at the World Championships, that people are pretty much expecting Stone Keep to be sort of the staple that everyone loves to see and everyone wants to play on. Kind of like how Jag is and how Bright Marsh was when it was back in rotation. But since that's not the case, only Jag is here, now they have to rely on Stone Keep a lot more.
Well, as we move into these picks and bans, you have got to be thinking, right, that this is one where if you're Yoinkers, you want Prosper, Logic, and Logi deciding how this game goes, right? These guys have been playing lights out all day long, the entirety of us moving through this European bracket. So I'm thinking that you want to make sure you get some comfort picks into their hands. What would you want to see prioritized here? Is the ROM is the first pick overall. I mean, IO is still out there, a ton of good picks, and they go right to this off tank.
I think the ROM has a lot of versatility here. I mean, we saw it earlier more than anything about how much presence this ROM can actually create. He runs over everybody. I mean, it's hard to argue that Enforcer, a great talent, reduces most of the damage he takes when he starts running. Juggernaut can really plow through and just clear a lot of individuals that might be trying to sit back, wait. Perfect at diving backlines. I think that having this aggressive pick first sort of sets the tail here. Having the IO Eevee on the other side also tells aggression. They might be trying to meet them head on with how these drafts are going so far.
That's a good point. Yoinkers could potentially afford to go with a solo tank in a world where Luna is parked on the point, and then free up some of their stars to go out there and make some big plays we were covering earlier. Meanwhile, ClownFiesta have cornered the market on top-tier off-tanks, right? I don't know if it gets much better than Rom and Ash. Those two are capable of so much here. So now, it seems pretty clear to me what the plan is from ClownFiesta. They want to be aggressive, and I assume they'll have the Ash do most of the point tank responsibilities.
Yeah, or I mean, we've seen this be the case before. They could just say, forego the point, forget it. We're just going to go in. I mean, Corvus is still open, so they might be able to even do that. They might have plenty of sustainability at their backs based off of spreading influence, putting out those 2 marks, making sure that Zen's okay, along with the Ash, the Rom. Those 3 picks immediately. I don't think the point is their prioritization. I love the Con here. I love the Androxus. Perfect at countering dive, especially if Rom tries to move in, or Ash. But the only issue is that I feel like they'll be overwhelmed from how much they have to handle, because sure, you get rid of the Ash, Well, what about the Rom and Zin? Okay, you get rid of Rom. What about the Ash and Zin? You still have to have answers for more than just one of them.
They're going to be taking damage from every direction, right? Rom and Ash's damage, you can't scoff at it. And obviously, Vivian and Zin have tons of potential. But now, Yoinkers have this very mobile draft, right? Eevee and Androxus, with that mobility that they bring, and vertical mobility as well, is going to be pretty difficult to deal with. And now it's a Strix. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yoinkers are going pure damage, solo tank con, and trusting Luna to kind of keep it up on the point. You leaning either way or the other here, Fawn, based on these drafts?
Personally, I think Clown has it sort of in the bag. Personally, like based off our drafts alone, I genuinely think Strix doesn't have what Kinessa has, which is an instant teleport. Right? He could still be hit by the CC, the shoulder bash. He could still take the damage while he's invisible if they just shoot in his general vicinity. They'll find a hit eventually, and I think that's what's going to be the downfall of this Strix. He can't play those longer angles because of the aggression that they have so far. And with the Corvus, like I mentioned earlier, it might be curtains for Yoinkers.
It's all going to be on the Zen, I feel like. Getting to that Strix is critical. Game number 2 of your grand finals kicking off.
It's time to rematch these two teams in the European finals of this year in Paladins Pro action. Dolson and Goremizer will be on the call for you as we work in to Stone Keep. Gore, we saw these two teams face off earlier today. Yoinkers comes out on top. Yoinkers comes into the finals with one game in hand. Is that enough, though, to hold off ClownFiesta?
I mean, look, I'm looking back towards that last set, and Yoinkers looked really solid. There were so many times that I thought, man, I like ClownFiesta's draft here. It feels better. And Yoinkers still would just take it. Then, Ice Mines happened, and that was a whole other thing. ClownFiesta, though, had a little bit of time, I guess, to recoup, like the small break between sets, then that time playing Celestial to kind of get their fingers warmed up, everything ready coming into this. And I'm going to tell you, the front line of Simsaloo here on Ash and a Rom being picked up for them, that feels like such an oppressive front line to deal with. Yoinkers are going to have them in their face all the time.
Still getting used to saying Simsaloo on frontline, by the way. Even though we're a year into it, it's still weird for me to think that this guy has made such a big role swap. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out right off the bat. Yoinkers has found first blood, and it's one of those frontliners that ends up going down early on here. Now ClownFiesta fighting back in, big deficit, 54% and climbing to only the 6% of ClownFiesta. Everyone else from ClownFiesta grouped up on the high ground here, and it's going to be so difficult to fight back in onto the point. Yeah, Prosper Logic on this Strix, hitting shots like that. Down goes Alex. Ninu, he's taking a tumble as well. Now Simsaloo half HP around the side, eats up the double kill of Good Lad, and it looks like Yoinkers off to the races here in game 1.
I mean, this is so similar to one of the games we saw earlier. Prosper on a sniper, causing trouble for ClownFiesta. Is a story we've seen today, literally, as it comes through. And it's just looking like it's going to continue this route unless they find a way to get back to him consistently. That's up to the Zin more than anyone. Ash can go and pressure him. Same thing for Rom. Only one can get back there and kill him regularly, and I think that's going to be up to the Zin and what kind of prowess they can show. Otherwise, you're looking at a free-firing Strix.
Oh,
and
man.
that is not good news when paired with Etsu's Androxus.
That's right, Prosper Logic not missing right now, and Etsu has been there to clean up those kills. Now a couple in succession. Cart has not slowed down since it's been converted by Yoinkers. Take a look at the streaks, top right of your screen. Only Prosper Logic is missing. I imagine another kill or an assist. He'll be right up there with the rest of his team. And ClownFiesta very tentative here. They're giving up a lot of ground, waiting for everyone else from their team to respawn. Simsaloo turns around, grabs the kill onto Etsu. Small silver lining for the defensive team here. Finally a bit of breathing room. It looks like Prosper Logic is going to get forced in on back, but enough healing. The flashbang out is going to keep him alive a little bit longer as well. Prosper staying alive is massive here. Ninu ends up dying as well. Will Simsaloo fall casualty? Sure he will. Prosper Logic on the killing spree somehow stays alive, and the cart will resume its push.
I mean, these shots are just so consistent from him. Look at Etsu as well. I mean, just constantly popping heads with this revolver right now, making it so difficult for ClownFiesta. They aren't even able to contest full power. They just lost Alex.
Uh-oh, this cart getting very close to going through. Good lad, a double kill. Etsu survives. Are you kidding me? Simsaloo falls. Yoinkers rolls it in. Up 2-0 on Stone Keep. Break or not. This Yoinkers team has not slowed down. Etsu, one death, and that's all.
7-0-5, 5-0-4 are maybe the lackluster ones. I guess 3-1-7 falls under there. Sorry, Etsu, you're the one that has to take that break. 00-12 for your support, perfect slash line. 1-0-10, a lot of assists there on Laji, setting up the kills again as the others come in to knock them down. Well played all throughout by Yoinkers, and I expect the front line from ClownFiesta to be more aggressive. Honestly, coming into this, I think with comeback mechanic, this round might be a little better for them. And again, I'm having flashbacks to what we have seen this team do, where they found some control even when they're down. But Yoinkers, if they can continue to play with this much aggression, this much control, and this much just teamwork straight up, it's going to be difficult for anyone on ClownFiesta to make a difference because they're constantly half health or lower.
And Yoinkers barely had to use anything to get that converted. They have an overpower ready to go. Perfect for deleting Aram should they need. Etsu instead is going to turn his eyes over to Simsalou. Alex will go down as well. This team firing on every cylinder there is. Double from Etsu. The last couple surviving members of ClownFiesta full on disengage. And the worst thing of all, already 81% if you're Yoinkers, and Volka's now going to get staggered out, and I don't think there's any chance to get in and get a touch. We are less than 5 minutes into this game. Overtime is on. This is just a matter of time before Yoinkers adds their third point.
I mean, it's definitely a little slower than what we've seen, but this is one of the fastest runs that you could see on Stone Keep. I think the record for that in my mind, if I remember correctly, there was one that was like 5:55. It was just barely sub 6 minutes, meant no snags the entire time. And Yoinkers are doing something incredibly similar right now. I mean, the damage numbers are just too much. This is, in my eyes, right now, hunger personified. A team that knows they can win it, a team that knows they can be the champions, and they're playing at a different level because of it. And ClownFiesta, they struggled with it in the semis. Right now, they don't seem to have figured out much to help them for this map.
I think Yoinkers is already thinking about Game 3 and the picks and bans that they want to bring to the table for that one. It's a savage Prosper logic. The man has been untouched, and he's going to keep things going here. Good luck, Desk, finding any one person to highlight because nobody from Yoinkers has slacked off here in this one. An overpower rings through. That's good, lad. Gets the kill. Over onto Simsalou. No more front line except for the Rom. That's going to have to rumble out of base. Ninu hanging out down around the cart. Laji puts the last bit of damage in. Are you kidding me? We are 6 minutes into this game, and Yoinkers, they're on championship point.
That is frightening. I mean, that is just purely scary when it comes down to think of Yoinkers being able to do that to ClownFiesta. I mean, this team, like you look at ClownFiesta and what they've done all the last few weeks, they've been tearing apart Europe, and Yoinkers, I mean, just shrug them off like it's nothing, like they were just a light blanket at worst. This is incredible from Yoinkers. But I really need to see the turnaround. I don't want this to just be 2 games. I want ClownFiesta to show up in the next one.
I know we had a long, fun day of EU action. We got to start to build something up here. You got 1 game to do it already. We're 6 minutes into these finals here, and Yoinkers is dominating ClownFiesta from what we've seen. Finch, good luck on the desk breaking this one down.
The game is over. Stone Keep's done already. There's no way. I was taking notes. I was doing something else. That's insane how quickly they just took care of map 2. How effectively map 2, right? As Dave said, they're on tournament point now. I mean, Fawn, can you make some sense of it? Is that how that draft was meant to play? They were kind of sitting back in Keep. It felt like they were waiting on a moment, but instead they got run over.
No, you don't play that way. I don't think you wait for as long as they did. There was a time where I saw Ash pushing up in Keep, and I'm like, okay, this is good. This is perfect. Okay, Simsalou's moving in, and then he stopped, moved back, and then started firing on this on like the platform outside of Keep by their spawn, like by Banana, and I'm like, wait, no, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Like, you're supposed to be full sending. Like, I understand that there's a con there, but there's only really one of them that can counter you. And Eevee has Ice Storm, sure. If Luna gets the stun, great. But Luna's stun is not as consistent. Eevee, you're relying on an ultimate every now and again to make sure that you can get the cripple off. You have to go. Like, you're Ash with a certain dominance, and you're holding on to it, and you're trying to play by Stone Keep, and you're getting locked down before you even, while you're on the way there, because you're stalling for too long. I definitely think that it genuinely comes down to you having to force things. Now, 1 and 8 is a slash line I would expect to see if they were focusing Ash, but you have Ash and Rom. I mentioned it before during draft. if you have an opportunity, if there's only one of them that can counter you, that doesn't answer the others. And I think you have to just keep going.
I think it's worth noting as well that Goodlad didn't even run Leon's shield, I don't believe, right? He ran Storm of Bullets on this con. It was not meant to be a particularly tanky version of the con, or at least the shield wasn't quite what it might have been otherwise, and still, the Yoinkers set a pace, right? That's what it felt like to me. It felt like ClownFiesta were not ready for the pace that was going to be set. You kept seeing Prosper catch people not even looking his direction, right, and lining up easy shots, or even the opening point where Simsulu dies right away. They were clearly not ready for how fast that Yoinkers are going to play this.
Yeah, and I don't think they were ready for the aggression quite yet either. I mean, Prosper was in the back. I mean, we saw him before pretty much just free firing on Strix. There was never a time where he felt pressured, and I think that's where it came to. I've never really seen people sort of play back with a ROM, with an Ashe. It doesn't quite make the same amount of sense to me. But hopefully this time around they'll be able to sort of bring something out in the draft that'll cement them not a 6-minute L, is what I would hope.
Well, let's go ahead and see what map we're going to be on. This will be Game 3 that they're playing Jack Falls on. And wow, this would be a tough way to lose the finals, right? I mean, Stone keeping Jack Falls. It'd be hard to ask for more heads-up Paladins than that, right? And they've struggled so far. And that's what we said, right? They played Yoinkers already before they fell into the lower bracket. I thought they might have come in a little bit more prepared, but at least from map 2, it seems like they weren't quite ready.
Yeah, it doesn't quite seem like that either. It's sort of, I agree, because I want to go back to the point that you had made beforehand. The onslaught that they were able to sort of deliver, it seemed like ClownFiesta weren't quite ready to play that fast yet, which is, once again, a little bit strange to me that they have the Ashe and ROM and they're not trying to play as aggro. I thought that's what Yoinkers wanted to do, and they did. They got the Luna, they locked in IO, they wanted to match the aggression that they knew ClownFiesta had 1-for-1, which is why I assumed that they would be as aggressive on Stone Keep as Yoinkers was going to try to be, but that just didn't work out for them. With the ROM being banned, they're not trying to plan on being as aggressive as before. Of course, Ashe is still alive, Ruckus is still in the fight. They could go double dive if they wanted to beforehand, but I just don't think it's as relevant in this case as it is on a map like Stone Keep.
I like this, though. ClownFiesta go ahead and secure the IO for themselves. That was a big part of the problem, right? Is last game, basically, they just walked up, planted Luna on the point, and then denied that line of sight from the keep down to the point. Andro was covering one window, Strix was covering the other, and it made it difficult for them to either push out or contest. This time, ClownFiesta have that advantage on their own side, though Makoa, who's right now our most successful tank on the other side, is pretty scary.
Yeah, Makoa Zen is definitely a very spooky sort of draft so far. I mean, you have the Ancient Rage. You pretty much have a lot of that sustainability to keep yourself alive. Zen, of course, probably going to go Yomi in this case. Depends on who they lock in as frontliners. Who they lock in as frontliners depends on whether he builds Guillotine or he actually goes Yomi. But in a map so close together like Jag is, a lot of choke points, he might end up going to Zen. And I didn't even mention that. Torvald's not banned. So they have pocket potential from two different characters. From IO for the extra DR, that you have Torvald with Thanks Grandpa. The talent gives him a 1,000 health shield. That's going to be hard to burn through. So it might actually just be the Yomi Zen, honestly.
Yeah, plus ClownFiesta could still get something like an Ashe on their side, a Khan on their side, right? They're not struggling for a front line to round out this draft, so there might be some legs to this set after all. I think ClownFiesta have a pretty potent draft. This Torvald is amping up this Eevee, right, and just making life a nightmare for the rest of Yoinkers, then they've got a chance to drag this one out a little bit longer. It is going to be the Inara they go to, and this one surprises me a bit. Inara has struggled lately. I know we've talked about how Inara is certainly still strong, but the results haven't been there.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, personally, I'm not too, I think this is like the one time where I would think that Solo Tank Khan would end up being picked, because Inara in a Terminus, that's a rough matchup. Is it the Grok again? There's no way they lose on this. There's no way they lock in IO, Inara. You can't be serious. Are they really about to lock in the Grok?
Oh,
they
Prosper.
locked in the Grok again. They set up the same draft they lost Ice Vines on. They just set up the same one. That's the most debated thing I've ever seen.
ClownFiesta right now, I promise you, with their heads in their hands, this has not been the kind of pick ban phase they were looking for. I had a timer going. This pick ban phase, this desk lasted longer than Stone Keep. Could the game possibly, could this set end this quickly? I hope not. ClownFiesta have got to prove they can conquer their demons. The same draft that sent them to the lower bracket is in Yoinkers' hands with the whole set, the whole tournament on the line. Yoinkers are on championship point.
Well, I guess we gotta hope that ClownFiesta, in the last couple of hours, has figured out how to play against this draft gore miser, but I think the desk is expressing some very valid concerns in that there is a lot of opportunity for this Grok to do well into the ClownFiesta draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as easy as it was on that Ice Mines game earlier. I will give it that credit. Before, realistically, Grok had to worry about tracing just a Mave in the sky. Otherwise, very easy damage. And he still has easy damage. I mean, Io, Luna, Torvald, and Nara, plus all of her deployables, very easy targets for this Grok to be able to bounce that Chain Lightning. But there's now an Eevee and an Andrew on here, and we saw what Alex can do on this Androxus last set. I have high hopes for the carries from ClownFiesta here to make sure that this doesn't end now. But Prosper Logic, Morale Boost Grok, Tempest with a Grover on a map where it works well. That's a scary combo.
We've officially reached 1/5 of the total time that Stone Keep took on the first point here in Jaguar Falls. So, maybe a small win there for ClownFiesta, but Yoinkers already showing some of the dominance. Ninu gets absolutely run down. Logi already with 2. Are you serious? This Yoinkers team brings the same pace that they had in Game 1 immediately into Game 2. Goodbye Accentra, goodbye ClownFiesta. I'm going to call it point 1 over to Yoinkers already.
So, I'm trying to think of what I can say that I didn't say before. You gotta change the pace. I mean, yeah, you gotta go in there. I guess if you're the Eevee, you're the Andrew, you gotta keep him on a swivel. And as hard as it is going to be, it is not. This is way easier said than done. But this Grok has to die, and he has to die fast.
Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I didn't. We'll see here. ClownFiesta wins some valuable trades early on in this point. But of course you got a Tempest.
There's one.
At the end of the first point, there's the finality of it all. Double kill from Prosper Logic, Logi, and Goodlad with 1 apiece. And I didn't misspeak. It was just a little bit delayed. Yoinkers on the board first.
All right, so let's go ahead and just add, whether you want to do it in chat or if there's some way to do it on screen, the Tempest counters, because that's going to be what I think we start counting on. Morale Boost 1 already online, 1 there. Last time on Ice Mines, he got 3 in 1 round. Let's see if he can beat his own record here for Prosper, because that's what Yoinkers are trying to do, right? Speed run this one, as the Paladins Pro Twitter put it. ClownFiesta finding some good clapback, though, Dave.
I mean, ClownFiesta need this in spades. They need to do this now, and they also need to do it like 6 more times just to give themselves a chance at a bit of a breather here. Great start for Jaguar Falls, but Gore, now you're starting to enter that territory where you got to decide how far forward you want to be, because there's an opportunity for Yoinkers to kind of out-rotate you here, force you back, right back to the payload, win a big fight, and then things are closer than they were before. Nice hook on in, but Simsaloo will ice block it away before the Grover will ultimately take him down. Logi there with a double again, and our worst nightmares have become reality. ClownFiesta swept again, and they're a bit behind Yoinkers. Bit awkward positioning now for this Torvald.
I mean, the exact thing you had said, that out-rotation, that's what Logi just did. I had the easiest time through line to the back line for ClownFiesta. Nothing the carries could do, nothing the tank could do against the Zen. Logi, I remember the beginning of the year having to figure, like, asking, who is this person learning? It's just this ranked monster, good at clicking heads. And as of right now, making plays for Yoinkers alongside Prosper Logic and keeping this payload going.
That is 2 Tempests and 1 kill for Logi in this fight. Another double kill for Logi. This man is hitting everything right now, and the Zen will not be stopped. Another kill for the Grover. Cart continues to work its way in. Logi with 3 in this fight. Luna will go down. Yoinkers will roll this card in. We're 4 minutes in, so we're reaching the point of Stone Keep timing. Speedrun continues, Gore. Cap and a push away.
Well, hey, and look at it this way. Now we know quantifiably whatever 2.5 is compared to 3, that is how much of Ice Mines exists in Jag Falls, right? Fractions are our friend here, right? Because that is how many ults Prosper Logic was able to get. 2.5 here as it comes through. Charge back up to 50%. Probably investing in morale boost again, if I had to guess. And the only thing that surprises me so far, Dave, is that he's not top of the damage charts. It's going onto the side of Alex. He's got 7,000 over anybody in the game, and the next one is Logi and Prosper on the other side. Very good damage numbers for just this Andro. And I'd said earlier, it's always nice to have someone who can solo carry a game. You don't want to have to rely on it, though. This is the time, if someone's going to solo carry, though, to step up and do it, because otherwise, I mean, look, it's already 6%. It's not a big number, but Yoinkers are in control.
I love the simplicity of this draft. Let's stand around Prosper Logic and just walk at ClownFiesta. It's worked out before. Looks like it's going to work out again here. It's a seismic crash down, but no kills just yet. Prosper with one as well. Another potential clean sweep on the horizon. This time it's Etsu with a double kill. Accentra will be the last one to go down. Everyone on Yoinkers on a streak. I called it early last time, so I'll hesitate, but looking real good for point 3.
All I want to say right now, Yoinkers, this isn't something that you're expecting. You know, you go 5 games, it's very close each time, and you eke out the very end. They are putting an exclamation point on their set. They beat ClownFiesta before, and they want to make sure that we know it's not a fluke. It wasn't a joke. I mean, the fact that they just grabbed this point and they're still decimating ClownFiesta just outside the base means that they are emphatically stating just how hungry they are, how much they want this championship.
There's got to be no world where this card isn't getting real close to going in here over the next few seconds, maybe even minutes, if ClownFiesta are able to last that long, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Yoinkers, the #1 seed coming out of this region, showing the dominance, showing why they belong up there at the top, and they're continuing to do so here. Ninu looks like one with the Hyper Beam, but he immediately gets hooked right back stage left. Down he'll go to Good Lad. Cart continuing to work its way in, back in behind. 1 minute and 45 seconds left, but Gore, I'm not sure Yoinkers are going to need it.
I mean, they're finding all these shots, so much damage, locked in the base. Ult's coming up, though, for ClownFiesta. Look at where they are. Almost to a seismic crash, but it's going to take a little while. A Cursed Arm, Ice Storm, and a Be Gone ready for them. They still have some defensive tools.
Well, this Tempest might be it that puts the crown on Yoinkers' head. Good Lad with the first. Alex, though, able to pick up a big kill here for ClownFiesta. Maybe the saving grace. But ClownFiesta need those respawns. They have no IO. They have no healing. Etsu doing his best to survive, but it might all hang on him. Now the Sonara getting worked away by Logi here, and there is just so much damage, so much sustain from Yoinkers, still alive. Savage for Logi. Is that enough to put the crowns on the head? The icing on the cake, it just might be. Gormizer Cart hanging so close to the edge of this circle here. Up and over goes Alex, but look at the damage that's being worked in to the Androxus now. Down goes Simsalu, though. Cart starting to roll on in. Wall needed now
One
to save
more.
the Inara's life. In back behind. Good Lad hooks Ninu right back in. Now the Inara, ever so important to stay alive. Accentra won't be able to do so. Down they go. Yoinkers 8-0 in the finals, and they're your EU champs.
I mean, that was, again, emphatic is the only term I can use. You go and look at the way that set went. That is not maybe we're going to win by a hair. Maybe we're going to keep it close. It was, we want you to know, we're the best in Europe, not by a little bit, not by a hair. We are going to grind every single person that gets in our way into dust until we stand on top, and they do that now.
Gore, loved spending the last 15 minutes with you here in the
In-game
EU finals of these World Championships. Hey, look, sometimes you're just that dominant. Yoinkers are. They deserve to be your EU champions here in these Paladins World Championships. That's it already for Gore and I here on the call. We'll go back to the desk to round out the day.
Let there be no doubt, no confusion, no ifs or ands or maybes. We know for sure Yoinkers is the best, and it is not very close. They are your kings here in Europe, and they do it emphatically. As Gormizer said, they're on the cast 8-0, and Fawn has busted out the Christmas hat. Fawn, what can you tell me about this set other than dominance?
It's the season of giving, Finch, and I think that's what's important to really think about, is that it really is the season of giving, because that had to have been the freest win I have seen in Paladins World Championship. That was quick. I don't remember the
Swift.
last time I've seen a game go that fast. They lost to the same draft they had
Yep.
on Ice Mines. It happened once again. The Grok is too OP, and I don't know what exactly they could have done differently except for ban the Grok. I meant to mention it when I was on desk before the game started, but I saw the IO and I saw the Inara, and I felt an omen cast it over me because I'm like, I swear I've seen this before. And immediately the Ice Mine game comes back, recalls to my remembrance, yes, this is what they lost to last time. So now here we are in a situation where they've lost yet again to the same characters that they lost to on Ice Mines. And you do hate to see it. That's my analysis. I mean, that's all I can give. I mean, it was quick. I don't know. Grok's too OP.
I mean, all the pieces were there, right? Makoa and Grover, they're grouping up together. They had the guillotines in. If the Inara survived, the Grok, it wouldn't survive for long with the essential execute there. I mean, all the pieces made sense here for Yoinkers. Every piece had a function, and they lived up to it perfectly. And I do want to make sure we give ClownFiesta some credit for fighting back to the lower bracket, for playing well this weekend. It just was not enough. No one was able to touch Yoinkers this week, so I don't think you don't need to feel bad about it. This is just the team that came in ready to play and hot, and they absolutely deserved the win, right? They played lights out.
Yeah, and absolutely, all jokes aside, I mean, you can't sleep on ClownFiesta. We've had some really veteran names on that team as well, and kudos to them for being able to fight up through the lower bracket, managing to beat Celestial as well, and just keep on rising to the top. It just was too much. They didn't have an answer for the Grok, and we can't, and more personally, I can't fault them too much because we saw this happen yesterday with Pickle Pepper. The Sky was a character they weren't too familiar with, and yet here we are once again. You don't expect some of these characters to be brought out at the highest level of play sometimes. Sometimes you just get used to seeing the top of the top. Okay, we know how to deal with these certain characters. But when somebody has something in the back pocket that you may have forgotten how to play against, because it's not that new seeing Grok being picked into the Inara, because it used to be Inara and Makoa they would pick into a lot. You really would burn them down about last year. A lot of these stationary targets, the shock pulses would bounce in between everyone. It just makes it way easier with IO nowadays. You could just have forgotten about it. The strategy may not be up to snuff, and I think that's just what ended up happening to ClownFiesta, but they deserve to be in the finals, and they've worked hard to make sure that they got there.
Well, you saw the path that Yoinkers took to their victory. They never had to beat Interstellar, but I think we can all imagine how it might have gone considering what they did to everyone else they came into contact with. So North America, we already know our victor there, snapping. We're pretty dominant throughout that North American bracket, and they are the best in North America. Here, obviously, in Europe today, we know the end result here as well. Yoinkers stand head and shoulders above the rest. But we still need to crown a champ in Brazil, and that is what will be coming for you all on Sunday. So some excellent matches there. Now, I know the heavy favorites are Parallax. They have not lost to anybody at all, so you would put your smart money there. But obviously, we saw some of the top teams lose, right? Pickled Pepper, we saw them drop. There's no guarantee they'll win here.
No, there's not really. I mean, this really has shown that the number one seeded team, sure, they're there for a reason, but even the Titans can be toppled, right? I mean, Pickle Pepper losing in North American bracket yesterday was something that nobody had expected to see. Snapping coming out and managing to pull out that win in the North American bracket was not something anybody expected to see. We didn't expect to see the Sky that we got or the Grok that we saw today that really put the hurt on ClownFiesta. So it's really up in the air what can happen in Brazil tomorrow. I'm just as excited now as I am today.
It only takes maybe one pick, one choice, one item you weren't expecting, and you could beat the very best. Thank you all for watching. Sorry we couldn't take you to 8:15 again tonight, but you will still get your Paladins fix tomorrow. Make sure you're back here at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we will start running the gauntlet in Brazil the same way that we did in North America and Europe here today. So thank you so much for being here. We will see you all tomorrow for Brazil.